I'm Chef Gail Sokol and welcome to my kitchen. Today we're making something very interesting. If you like chocolate cream pie, okay, and you like gooey chocolatey fudgy cookies, you're gonna like this. This is a chocolate cream pie cookie. It's like awesome, right? We're gonna have this beautiful fudgy cookie. We're gonna make an indentation in it, and they're gonna be big. Then we're gonna put chocolate pudding, beautiful chocolate pudding on top, and then a dollop of whipped cream. Oh my goodness, I could get around that, right? And you are gonna love it. You are gonna absolutely love it. And you will not wanna share the cookies with anybody. So they will make probably about 2 dozen. They'll make more if you make them tiny, but no one makes these tiny. I don't make them tiny. So before we get started, I'd like you to click that notification button because I want you to become a subscriber. I don't want you to miss any of my tips or videos because they're pretty good. And I love having you with me in my kitchen. And this is such an awesome recipe, I need to share it with you. It's just too good to keep to myself. Although I could eat all of these myself. I really, really could. I love them. So we're starting with a fudgy cookie. And I have had fudgy cookie recipes on my website, and I've done videos on them in the past, but this one has a little something extra because I love chocolate crumbs. I love the bottom, the bottom crust of a chocolate cream pie. Sometimes they're made with a pie crust, like a flaky pie crust. I like them with chocolate cookie crumbs. Yum! So these cookies have chocolate cookie crumbs in them. Why not? Why wouldn't you, right? Why wouldn't you? So the first thing I did, preheat your oven, 325 degrees Fahrenheit. And then this is the creaming method of mixing. Creaming method of mixing. So the first thing you have to do is start with softened butter, 6 tablespoons. All right, we're going to get that into our electric mixing bowl. And then we're going to put in 3/4 of a cup of granulated sugar. I've made these so much just to get them just right for you, and I've had to eat them all. It was a sacrifice, but look what I do for you. Look what I do for you. 3/4 of a cup of light brown sugar. If you like the dark brown sugar, put it in. It tastes really, really good. And then with your paddle attachment, you're going to cream this mixture, but there's not enough butter to truly cream it into a light and fluffy. So I call it somewhat light stage, okay? So we're gonna get that going on a medium to medium high speed. In the meantime, over a double boiler, I melted 3 ounces of unsweetened chocolate, those squares of unsweetened chocolate that you see in the grocery store, unsweetened. And then I also melted let's see, what was it? It was 1.5 cups of semi-sweet chocolate chips. And I melted them until they were like this, just beautiful and glorious. And I've sort of wiped down the bottom of the bowl and set it aside. So in the meantime, I'm going to whisk my dry ingredients. We're getting all our things in place, all our steps in place so that when we're ready to throw this batter together, it's going to be boom, boom, boom. And it's going to be more like a cookie dough because we want it thick. So in another bowl where we're going to whisk our dry ingredients, we want them homogeneously blended. I have 1.25 cups of all-purpose flour. I have 1.5 cups of those yummy chocolate sandwich cookie crumbs. If you want to just take the cream filling out, you can. Don't do that. Leave it in. Leave it in. It adds a little something, something. 1.5 cups of those beautiful cookie crumbs. Get those mixed in with the flour. 3/4 of a cup of Dutch processed cocoa powder. That is unsweetened cocoa powder. And Dutch process means that it's had its acidity removed. It's treated with a base, and it's not acidic because natural cocoa powder, for your information, is naturally acidic. So we're going to take the acidity away, and it's going to react with baking powder, but not baking soda. But we have another acid, because if you've watched any of my videos, you do know baking soda, if you use it, needs an acid to create a neutralization reaction. And we are going to be using some Greek yogurt to do that, because that is acidic. So we have our crumbs, our flour, and our cocoa. And now we have our 1 teaspoon of baking powder, 1 teaspoon of baking soda, half a teaspoon of salt. Boom, boom, boom. This is important to whisk your chemical leaveners in. So the baking powder already has an acid added to it, so it reacts very nicely when it hits moist ingredients, because it's double acting. So it'll create some carbon dioxide gas bubbles when it hits some of our wet ingredients, like our eggs, our yogurt. They all have water in them. The butter even has some water. And then it's going to react again with a pow of leavening in the oven. So it reacts once with moist ingredients and once with heat. That's what baking powder does. Baking soda needs an acid, and we got it. We got it covered, folks. So now that is all my dry ingredients. I put them aside. So in here I have cracked 2 large eggs, the whole egg, and I am adding 1 teaspoon of pure vanilla extract to that. Once we have our somewhat creamed mixture of our sugars, brown and granulated, and our butter, I'm going to add 1 egg yolk, and with it, with the white, comes about approximately 1 egg. I'm going to let that get going. And then I'm going to add the other egg once it gets incorporated. Okay, get that in there. If you added them all at once, nothing's going to happen. The skies are not going to darken and nothing's going to happen. Even if someone tells you that, they're lying. All right. So now, once we have our eggs in there, it's time for chocolate. Chocolate. So we have this beautiful, beautiful, beautiful chocolate in here. All right. Beautiful chocolate melted in here. And I am going to put it in on low speed, because I do not want to turn my chef's coat chocolate. So I'm just going to get that in there. Woo! Look at that. This takes years of practice to get this. You have to focus so it doesn't go, because one false inch, and guess where it goes? That's right, on the floor. And I'm not cleaning the floor tonight, folks. Even though I love having you, I don't want to clean the floor. So here we go. We're getting it all in there. Getting it all in there. Our unsweetened and our semi-sweet chocolate is going all in. And get it all, if you can, with that rubber spatula. Get it all in there. Okay? And then push down if you do have a guard. Push all that good stuff in there. And then we're going to stop it for a minute. And we are going to just scrape it down. So you can see there's not a true batter yet. This is what it really looks like. Okay, almost looks like a frosting. Once we add our dry ingredients, it'll turn into a really thick dough. And then we're going to make it even more rich by adding some chocolate chips. Again, why wouldn't we? It is amazing. So 1.5 cups of those chocolate chips get melted with that unsweetened, the 3 ounces of unsweetened chocolate. And then we save another 1.5 cups of chocolate chips to put in at the end of when our dough is ready. Our dough, or if you want to call it, if you don't want to call it dough, you can call it your batter, but it's going to be like a dough. Now I have 1 5.3 ounce container of Greek yogurt, plain Greek yogurt, no flavors, please, okay? Plain Greek yogurt. You can do fat-free, you can do whole fat, whatever you want to do. Just make sure it's plain, okay? And once that gets in there, we're now ready for our dry ingredients. And this is a little altered from a typical creaming method of mixing. Usually you alternate the dry ingredients with, let's say, the yogurt, but here it's a cookie and we're doing it just a little faster. So this is another variation. So just get your dry ingredients in. Make sure you do this on low speed or you'll be spitting up some dry ingredients and sneezing them out, so don't do that. So get them all in here. And this dough is so dark and so chocolatey, I don't think you can get a more chocolatey chocolate cookie than this. It's like really like fudge, so good. And the crumbs just give it that chocolate pudding cookie feel. It's yum, yum, yum. So I did make a devilishly chocolate pudding on another video that you can make the pudding ahead of time and get it in the fridge. All right. So you'll have it all ready when these cool down, because you want to put them in when they're cool. You don't want to add the pudding on top of the cookie when it's warm. All right, now we're ready to take this out. So let me, oh boy, is that says chocolate right there. Look. Oh my goodness. Does this say chocolate or does this say chocolate? And we're not done. We still have chips to put in here. This is like a quadruple chocolate fudge cookie. So this is the base of our beautiful chocolate cream pie cookies. Yum. All right, so this is like, I would clean this off and just really empty everything off of here. All right? All right, and now we're not done. We got chips to add. 1.5 cups, semi-sweet chocolate chips. Fold those in. Do not let the mixer do it or you'll be hearing a lot of ba-ba, and you don't want that. And you don't want to make your mixer work harder because I'm working hard mixing these in. Just take a rubber spatula and sort of fold them in, and it's actually good for you to get under that little blip that is on the bottom of an electric mixer. You want to make sure there's no dry ingredients there getting stuck. And I see a little yogurt. I'm going to mix that in. And then, if you don't want to bake these right away, you can actually chill this in a big bowl or in this bowl. And then divvy them up, let them sit at room temperature, the batter, for a little while the next day or in a couple of days and bake them off then. So you don't have to bake all these off right now. But we're gonna. Why wouldn't we? So I have a beautiful large sheet pan, all right? And I am going to use about an ounce ice cream scooper, and that's about 2 tablespoons. This might be, I'm gonna move this over because I made a mess, but I'm gonna take a scooper of this, okay? And I'm not gonna fill it up all the way. So you make these as big or as little as you want. And I'm going to put it down on a parchment lined sheet pan. And it's going to be like a nice, like a big mountain, okay? And you're gonna spread them out, get that dough back in there. And you're probably not gonna be able to make more than, I would say, maybe 6 to 8 on one sheet pan, depending on how big your sheet pan is. If you don't have a big sheet pan, you'll just make them. I'm going to be making them a couple of times. And I have 2 sheet pans usually covered with parchment, and I'm ready to go. So I can divvy up the batter or the dough on one while the other one's baking. These bake 16 minutes and you're done. And definitely try one before you fill them, just so you get an idea, because, you know, it's research, right? You got to try it. I call that research. And then if you want to, I'm not going to do that now. Sometimes I push it down with a moistened, I'll dip my fingers in a little water. I have it here. And you can experiment. If you like to push them down a little, don't push them down too much, just a little bit, so they don't have too much. They're going to bake down, so they're not going to have like a big hump or anything. Just a little bit. And then you're going to put these into the oven. 16 minutes. They may not look done. Don't leave them in longer. 16 minutes. And then you're going to see what we're going to do to hollow out the bottom to make that little pudding, a little room for the pudding. All right. So I'll see you back in about 16 minutes. Gorgeous chocolate cookies. They came out. They're big. And now, while they're warm, not hot, wait maybe a few seconds. Take a 1/4 cup solid measuring cup or a little glass and just go right down into the center. Don't push all the way down, but just we're making a little crater. Okay, we're making a little crater because it's got to hold our beautiful, and if it gets a little too cratery because they're still very hot, I'm going to, and they will actually firm up as they cool, but you really want to make sure that that's a lot of the chocolate. You want to make sure that you have this crater for your chocolate pudding. Chocolate pudding, because it's still very, very hot. So you're going to do that on each one, all right, and make sure that they have a nice big crater. I'm going to continue making craters of my baked cookies and continue baking off my other cookies, and I'll see you back when we fill them. So I'm super excited. My chocolate cream pie cookies are ready to fill. Yum. So I have my chocolate pudding chilled and ready to go, and I have some stabilized whipped cream. Both of these, there'll be links to get these recipes and to see the videos. So the first thing we're going to do, we made our indents. We let the cookies cool. You don't want to put whipped cream on warm cookies. That's a no-no, all right, because the whipped cream will melt down. So I'm going to take a nice spoonful of my chocolate pudding, and I just have 4 out here, all right. Just want to make them pretty. So this is sort of a fun dessert. You wouldn't see this everywhere, right? You might see this in a fancy restaurant, but you can do this. You can do this at home. Make it really pretty, about a heaping tablespoon in each one, depending on how big your cookies are. And then I'm going to make what is known as quenelles. So you take 2 tablespoons, and I'm going to put 1 spoon into my whipped cream, and I'm going to take the other spoon and go to the edge, take the other spoon and go to the edge, all right? Take 1 more time and just gently drop it on, okay? Look how pretty that looks. So you take a heaping tablespoon, enough that it stays on the spoon, and just keep going back and forth so you're actually rounding and making almost like an oval, all right? Almost looks like an oval. And then you put it down on your cream. We'll do 2 more. And then I got some chocolate, and I just grated it on a box grater. I put it very, very carefully for a few seconds in the microwave just to soften it. And then I made really beautiful, like grated chocolate shavings. And I thought it might be nice to scatter them on top. So we're going to put that right there. And here they are. I'm just going to use my hands. Oh! Oh! Did you ever just have like an epiphany? Like, this is really good. This is really going to be good. Yeah, I'm having it right now. I'm having it right now. Oh my goodness. Is this the prettiest thing you've ever seen in your life? And you are going to make these glorious chocolate cream pie cookies. And you can look on Instagram for the big reveal inside. And I hope you become a subscriber. And I hope you make these. Until next time.